Hi, David here from Guitaria Music Tuition and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to learn about finger tapping. So you might come across finger tapping in rock guitar solos, but you might see it in other styles of music too. If you're looking at a song, maybe you have some guitar tab, a piece of music, and you see a number with a circle around it, then that will be a finger tap usually, or sometimes above the number in the tab you might see T for tap. Okay, so let's learn how to finger tap. So what I'm going to do is show you a little exercise that you can do as I'm explaining how to finger tap. So what we're going to do then is place your first finger on the 5th fret on the high E string, and you're going to put your forefinger, your little finger, on the 8th fret. So now with my right hand, I'm going to tap on the 12th fret. Now, if you're left-handed, so it'll be your left hand that will do the tap, and your right hand that will do the fretted notes. So for the tap itself then, what we're going to do is going to tap the note on the 12th fret. So when you tap, you don't hit the metal fret. You're going to hit or tap the string just behind the metal fret where you normally would play the note. So we're going to use our second finger for the tap. So you can hold your pick with your thumb and first finger. Now, a lot of maybe beginners or self-taught people, when they learn finger tapping, they sometimes try and use their first finger, which is okay, but realistically, when you're playing finger tapping, it's usually within a song with other notes where you're picking. So you're not going to really have time to, put the pick down, or it would just be a bit awkward to switch how you hold the guitar pick. So I'd recommend tapping with your second finger. That way you can keep hold of the pick with your thumb and first finger. Okay, so a finger tap is where you hit the string on the note of your choice behind the metal fret, and you're just going to be quite firm to hit the string. So I'm going to use my second finger, as I've mentioned, just like that. So that's the tap. Then typically what you do is flick the string to the side, so then it picks that string and plays whatever note you've got your left hand on. So I'll do that again. I'm going to tap, and I'm going to flick, just like that. So just practice that for a minute. So you're going to tap on the 12th fret, just behind the metal fret, be quite firm, flick it to the side, and just practice that. So remember, your little finger's going to be on the 8th fret, your first finger's going to be on the 5th fret on the high E string. Now you don't want to dab the string, it's not that. It's not a flicking motion. You're going to do a tap and then a flick, so two separate things. It's not one movement, it's two separate movements. Tap and then flick to the side. So generally I flick down. You can also flick up depending on what you're playing. So you can maybe practice both ways. So this exercise we're going to try then, we're going to tap on the 12th fret, we're going to flick it to the side, and we're going to pull off the 4th finger off the 8th fret so it plays the note on the 5th fret. So like this. Do that again. So we have three separate sounds there. We have the tap itself, so that's playing the note on the 12th fret. We've got the flick to the side, which is playing the 8th fret there, and then the pull off, which will play the note on the 5th fret. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can just start slow and then gradually increase the speed and try and keep it smooth. So when you repeat the exercise, try not to have big gaps like this. That's okay if you're just starting out, but then try and keep it smooth as you repeat the exercise. So once you've got used to that, instead of pulling off, you can try hammering on. So you have your first finger on the 5th fret on the high E, you're going to tap on the 12, you're going to flick it to the side, then you're going to hammer on to 8, so that would be like this. So most people find this exercise with a hammer on a little bit more tricky, and the reason is, as they've played the hammer on, they lift the finger off and it can play a pull off on accident before they tap again. So for this exercise we don't want to hear the pull off, so the way to stop that is just make sure you tap straight away just before your little finger lifts off, and then take it off straight away so you can repeat the exercise. Also, the way you lift off your finger can have an influence too, so if you pull it down, then there's a good chance you're going to hear a pull off. So just lift it off gently, straight up in the air, and that can help not to do a pull off when you don't want to. You can play an exercise where you do hammer on or pull off again. So for example, like that. With these exercises you would have 4 sounds. You would have the tap, you'd have the flick to the side, you'd have the hammer on, and then the pull off. So with that exercise I'm purposely pulling off again rather than just doing the groups of 3 where I'm just hammering on. So with the groups of 3, on the one where you're hammering on, be careful not to pull off. You just want to say tap just before you lift off the finger and lift your finger off just straight up gently. But if you mean to do it, then that's fine. You can purposely pull off, and that's a separate exercise in itself. You can also do it the other way around, where you're pulling off to a hammer on, so like this. Again, that would be 4 separate sounds. You've got the tap, you've got the flick, you've got the pull off, and then a hammer on. So just to summarize, you've got 4 exercises you can try there. You've got the pull off version where you're doing the groups of 3, so the tap, the flick, and the pull off. You've got the hammer on exercise with the groups of 3. You've got the group of 4 where you are pulling off then hammering on. The 4th one is the other group of 4 where you're hammering on then pulling off. Okay, so you can try this on different strings. So you could try those on the B string, like that. Now if you're playing them on the B string or the G string or any string above the high E, what you can do is just lean back slightly with your first finger just to mute the string below. So my first finger's on the B string here, I'm gently leaning back on the high E. That way if I pull off or when I'm tapping I'll flick it, the high E should be muted because my first finger's just touching it ever so slightly. Same principle if you tap on the G string, you can just lean the first finger back slightly on the strings below just to mute them in case you accidentally catch them with your tapping finger. So another tip when finger tapping is to rest this part of your hand and rest on the thickest strings if you're tapping the highest strings. That way it will mute the thickest strings, it will stop any unwanted feedback. So if I don't rest my hand and let's say I'm playing a song and these strings are ringing out, then you'll get unwanted feedback. If then you put your hand on the thickest strings, then if they were ringing out, you'll just stop that from happening. It can also stop your wrist from getting fatigued by just giving it a rest on the thickest string. If it was up in the air, you get less control and you could start to get arm ache. You can practice finger tapping without holding the guitar pick. If you do, I'd recommend putting the thumb on the side of the fretboard. That way, it can just help control your hand movements, rather than if your thumb wasn't on, you get a bit less control. But generally, I'd probably practice it while holding the guitar pick between your thumb and first finger. So these exercises are movable. We played them on the 5th fret, the 8th fret and the 12th fret, but you can move your hands around. So if I was to move the left hand back 2 frets, then I would also move my right hand back 2 frets. So now I'm on 3, 6 and 10. You can do the same set of exercises there. Move back another 2 frets. Again, make sure you move both hands. You could try it higher up. So you can practice moving those exercises around. Whatever you do to the left hand, you also do with your right hand. So if you go back one with the left hand, you go back one with the right, and vice versa. Another thing you can try with these exercises is moving your tapping hand. So we were tapping on the 12th fret on the original exercise. So what you can do is do 4 lots on the 12th fret and try 4 lots on the 13th fret, like this. Then you can also try that on the different strings. So you could try that one on the B string. So finger tapping can be played on a clean setting on the guitar or on a distorted setting. Finger tapping sounds particularly cool with lots of gain and distortion on your guitar. So once you've learnt this technique, put some overdrive or some gain or some distortion on your guitar amp and give it a go and have some fun. Okay, so that's the basics of finger tapping. You can advance on this technique by playing it on different strings, using different fingers. There's other things you can do as well, where you kind of tap and slide, but I'll cover those in a different video. So just start with those basic 4 exercises, move the frets around, try the exercise on different strings. Don't forget to use your second finger, hold the pick with your thumb and first finger. Don't forget to rest your hand there on the thickest strings to stop any unwanted feedback. And don't forget you can lean the first finger back slightly so it mutes the string below, just to stop any unwanted string noise on the strings below. Okay, so give it a go and let me know in the comments how you get on, and I'll see you in the next video.